welcome to our early start, it seems, but here we are nonetheless. So audit class. It's different than it used to be. We've made some changes. So what this class has turned into is CPA preparation. I don't see any harm in that, right? I think most, if not all of us, are headed in that direction. Even if you're not, I mean, we're studying the same things we would study in using an audit, old audit. We're more focused in on CPA, testable stuff, exam strategies. That's our focus. We're going to talk, we're going to be talking about CPA exam this time, the whole time. That's our ultimate goal. So, I like that in lieu of, all these case studies and group projects and mess like that. We're getting ourselves ready for the audit section of the CPA exam, which to me was by far the easiest section. To me, I don't think everybody agrees with that, and the pass rates don't reflect that either. But I don't know. I just found it to be the easiest one. It was my highest grade. It was the first section I took. I don't know. It seems real easy to me compared to the massive amounts of material you have to cover for FAR, the crazy broadness of BEC that's scattered all over the place, and then the reg. What else do I have to say about reg?
It's just the worst.
Yeah, that's about that's about it, right? Yeah. I think I need to just force myself to teach a tax class, and maybe I'll learn to love it.
I don't know.
I don't know. I've never taught tax, so maybe I could like it. I
think Dean Clark can do it up?
No, he would, but I think he'd miss it immediately. He would probably give up one or the other of the undergrad or the grad, but I don't think he would ever give up both. And I don't want it, so it's fine. Nobody else is fighting for it. So we're good to go. I hope he keeps teaching it. He will. So that's what we'll do in here. I hope that's good for everybody. I hope that's not a bummer for anybody. That's what we're doing. We're using as our textbook, CPA exam, test prep book, and software, Wiley. All the different companies, Becker, Wiley, Gleim, some of the others, they all have their good and bad. Wiley has its good and bad, but I know a lot of people who used it and a lot of people who have been successful using it. Combination of Wiley and Becker or Wiley and Gleim is even better. Why not? When I studied, I had multiple prep books to use. We didn't have all the fancy software back then, but I don't know, we may have. I just didn't do it. I don't know. Can't remember. But Wiley's it. It covers everything. The really good thing about Wiley to me is little chapters that are just, here's a little chapter on this little thing, and then here's a little snippet of, they're nice manageable chunks instead of a big 30-page. Here's 30 pages on this, right? So it's nice and compartmentalized. I like that. I like being able to have a starting and a stopping point, multiple starting and stopping points along the way. So I do like that about that. The thing that, and this is true for all of them, maybe one of the more frustrating things is some of the practice questions aren't the best, but that's true for all of the prep companies. Authors are writing these questions and they don't go through the rigorous peer review process that CPA exam questions do. So some of them are a little fuzzy sometimes, but don't let that frustrate you. Just let that be something we can talk about. Say, okay, if they meant this, then this. If they meant this, then this. We're learning along the way, so it's fine. But yeah, that gets a little frustrating sometimes. We ran into some weird questions in BEC last semester, but we just talked about why they were weird and moved along. Right? That guy's great. Kentucky Fried Opossums, and some of his characters' names were really funny. Oh yeah. I don't guess it's not the same guy who wrote the audit, so you won't get the goofiness from audit. I don't think.
Looking at some guy who did half the BBC stuff, right?
Yeah, it's just
They had different people.
they did it. Yeah, so that one guy was a hoot.
Yeah.
And his videos were funny too. I don't know if y'all watched the videos, but here's our. So I sent out information about purchasing your materials. You're getting a good deal on this stuff. They cut UNA a nice price on this, and what you'll get is access to a Canvas course that they specifically set up for us. You won't find it in UNA Canvas. You'll have to log in Wiley's website to do it. Hopefully you've all done that already. But here's where all our stuff is. They've got it set up for us. Here's where you can click to get the paper copy of the textbook if you want. There it all is. If I'm in this class, that's one of the first things I'm going to do. I like having a hard copy in front of me, something I can carry around, something I can leave out in the open. If I'm passing by, I'm like, okay, I'm going to sit down and do a page, which always turns into, I'm going to do a few more pages. And then it's like, wow, I just knocked out a whole bunch of stuff and didn't even intend to. So I like having a hard copy, but it's up to you. You may like just doing everything. Everything in the book is actually already within the module. So you're not getting anything extra by getting the book. It's just up to you. But we're going to follow it in exact order this time, module 1 through whatever. I think so, but they're all in there. But yeah, so each of these sections, we'll start with module 1. You have, a lot of y'all are familiar with this because you've done it in other classes, but some of you may not be, so I thought I'd run through it real quick. If it opens.
This thing takes forever. I don't know if it's the internet or if it's the actual application. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it's that. It's the application, I think. It's kind of annoying sometimes. Like when you hit the back arrow back to the table of contents, it goes up and then down and then up. I'm like, be still.
So I try to get refreshed about 15 times.
Mm-hmm. Well, my goodness. Good job. You made it listen. So within each module, you'll find the same things. There's videos that Wiley instructors teach. Dr. Carnes teaches some of the tax ones, so you'll see him in those videos. The more you do, the more you learn, right? The videos are there for you. Have them playing while you're doing something else. Probably listen to them in your car, and that'd be exciting. Could you get by without doing the videos? Absolutely. So it's up to you. The videos are there if you want them. If it's a harder section, why not watch the video to see if they make it a little more clear? But sometimes they are great. Sometimes they're like, well, that was kind of a waste of time. But they're there for you if you want them. Did y'all ever do the videos? You did? Okay. No.
See, I did the film and tax.
Yeah. I find myself getting impatient a little bit with them. But I'm okay with them in the background. I'll try to listen to them to see if they come up with any neat way of saying things. But
Kind of the same result. I have a hard time learning.
Yeah.
Like that.
But those videos can be anywhere from 6 or 7 minutes to 30 minutes. You never know. Some of these are kind of short. But those are there. Then they got flashcards. I never bother with those. It's just another, I don't know. But here's your text right here. This is what's printed in the book that you would buy if you wanted it. It's an outline form. All the test preps, CPA, that's kind of the way they do that. So you don't have a textbook that reads like a newspaper anymore. So that takes a little getting used to, but the information's there. I've grown to like it. I remember being a little annoyed with it at first back in the day, but it's fine. It's a good way to do it. But that's your text. And it's fairly short each time. You know, none of these, I went through and counted the pages in each section. I don't think any of them is more than 8 pages. And those are usually if they have a big old, here's a sample letter or something, or a big old chart or something. Most of these are 1, 2, 3 pages, maybe sometimes 4. They're nice and short. True, false questions, if you want to fool around with those. You know, it's just different ways of getting the same information. The more you see it, the better. So spend as much time as you want with all those things, right? It's all there for you. Here's the slides that they use in the videos if you wanted to just look through those. So yeah, there you go. So that's your text material, and we'll assign a certain number of those each week. And then to get your grade, your homework grade, there's an assessment that goes along with each little chapter. That's what they call them. And to me, practice questions is where you really learn your stuff. You know, making your mistakes and wondering why, and then going back and saying, I get it now, and then you got it, right? There's 4 questions here. Good thing about audit is you're not going to be doing a bunch of number crunching. There's no calculations really. It's just all conceptual. That might bum some of you out, but makes the questions a lot quicker to answer. Yeah.
If there were 7 questions, it could take an hour.
It could take a while. Yeah. It's like, oh, great, 12 process costing. So yeah.
Is there as much to do each week in the audit as there was in DEC?
No, there's not. There's not as much to do. Because I think if I remember right, we were averaging 6 pages a week, right? Is that right?
Or a little 6, 7. Really?
No.
I think so. I'm sorry, a day.
Oh. I was like, oh my gosh.
6 pages a week, yeah. I'm
I
sorry.
feel like a lot more than that.
6 pages a day is what we were doing. I counted the pages and divided by 15 weeks times 7 days. 3.5 pages a day.
That's like half. That is lovely.
As I scheduled it out, I rounded it up to 4 so we can take shorter weeks on exam weeks. So the way I built the schedule out is 4 pages a day.
Isn't that
Okay. Anyway, that's your stuff. Yeah, and we'll just pace our way through. There are task-based simulations built in, so we'll have that assigned, and then there's quizzes to do. So here's what your week looks like. We're going to do things a little different this time, as far as these spreadsheets go. To cut down on confusion, I added a line for, hey, there's a task-based simulation and a quiz here. But looking back to last time, the people who ended up having a drop because they weren't doing well, mostly or pretty much all were the ones who, on the day that all this was due, opened the thing for the first time, go through and answer every question in about 1 minute, get the right answers and go back and plug them in. Those are the ones who screwed up. So, and this kind of helps me a lot too, just to kind of get a little order going. But yeah, I mean, there's an element of, I guess, babysitting here, but I think it's for the best. If you could, on your spreadsheet, you don't have to do comments for every section anymore, because you can if you want, but you don't have to, because it ended up being no problem, copy paste, you know. It's like, okay, I get it. There's nothing to say about all these. So if you want to say, hey, this was weird, let's talk about this, that'll jump out at me a little more than, you know, these are great, I'm fine with this, you know. So stick a comment in if you want. But what you can do is tell me, you know, the last thing you do is the assessment, right? tell me what day you did that and what time. And yes, and some of you might be rolling your eyes. Oh my goodness, why do I have to do that? Because probably 7 or 8 people last time. You look at the time. I can look at the time, but it'd be easier if y'all just get in for me. It'd be like this section was done at 8 o'clock, 8:03, 8:07, 8:09. Right?
Can you see the time you completed it to do it?
You I can.
Okay. Like sometimes,
No, I mean, really, it's to keep the people who are trying to fake their way through it from maybe thinking like, all right, maybe I a little more because it's going to look really weird. Because yeah, I mean, if something looked weird, I can go back and kind of look a little deeper. So if I see everything from this week was done between the hour of 8 and 9 p.m., I'm like, well, let me go dig a little deeper on that and see if this person really did anything or not.
And do you want us to do that, for like the first time that we did it, like if we missed? a
Yes, first
question?
time. Well, whenever you get them all right. Yeah, whenever you're done with it for the first time. Yeah, I knew this would be a little confusing, and I debated whether to do it, but it's every time it's like these same people are like, come on, guys,
You
y'all.
have to do it for the TBS and the quizzes too.
Yeah. Just kind of document. And I know it's a little much, but document kind of when you do it. You know, it doesn't have to be to the exact minute or anything, but yeah, in general. So yeah, like if you're at work and you did it, 3 or 4 sections that day, just your best guess. I'm gonna challenge you like, oh, you were off by 4 minutes.
With
So,
some
yeah.
people, it's really not gonna be as much good.
Do what?
With some people, it's not gonna be that much good.
Right.
Just a curiosity question, do you have anybody trying to cheat on us? That's last question we used
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's disappointing.
Yeah.
We had.
After
several
doing
days
the
deals about that.
360?
So.
Huh?
We're supposed to do
Yeah,
twice,
yeah.
and the ceiling and the
Yes.
thorough.
Yeah.
Wow,
Sure did.
that's.
Yeah. They ended up with a not a very good outcome as a result of that.
They will have, right?
Big old, So yes, I'm sorry. I'm just now looking at the comments online. So yeah, I'm gonna get that Excel spreadsheet fixed. It'll be better. No, there's no set date for the assignments. Well, there is weekly. Everything's due at the same time each week. So let me go back to
Are we still doing like by Wednesday at midnight?
yeah, Wednesday at midnight. Everything done. That's really the only guidance. Yeah, so that Excel spreadsheet is what you turn in, and that is due, so it all has to be complete. So all of this in week 1, all of this has to be complete and turned in by Wednesday before class, Wednesday, 11:59 p.m. So you've got all these sections. I even have the page numbers here. These questions, this task-based simulation, this quiz, you got to complete it. That's all you have to do. So, it's essentially free points. All you have to do is put a little time in.
We like the paging of questions.
Yeah.
That's really helpful gauging, okay.
And like timeline.
That's
Right.
why I don't
Sure.
have, that's why I don't have the whole thing done. I went through trying to get all that keyed in. I thought that'd be
Is
better.
it gonna be 5 minutes or is it gonna be?
That's super
Yeah,
helpful.
that's very good.
You would open it and be like 15 questions.
Right.
Oh, they're all conversational.
Right, there's 5 or 6 pages or 7 or 8 pages.
So the question is, can we watch videos and then do the assessment for that video, then move on to the next video? Yeah, of course. Yeah, do it however you want. Do it in any order you want. I just want to get an idea of who are the people who are doing everything on the last day, 2 or 3 hours. That's really the purpose of this, to keep those people hopefully from doing that. Because week 1 last time, I was sitting there watching, I could see that 4 or 5 people had done nothing within, by like 10 p.m. And they started cranking through them. So I sent in an email. I said, please stop. This isn't going to get you anywhere. That's what I'm trying to keep from happening. So yeah, as you go through, work through each of these sections, do whatever you want to do, read it, take your notes, whatever. Once you do these 4 questions, say, okay, I did those 4 questions here about 6:45 p.m. On to the next section, or next day, next section, whatever. Just kind of log your stuff. We'll see how it goes. I hope the people who are doing what they should do might be a little annoyed with this. I'm trying to help the people who need to be kept on it, right? That's my goal there. So that's what you'll do. Like, all right, I did this on this day. So you don't have to do it on this day, right? That's not necessary. Nothing's due on the 8th. Nothing's due on the 9th. I just kind of scheduled it out evenly per day. And my idea there is you should be kind of doing a little bit every day. Instead of doing 25 pages in one day, do 3 or 4 pages every day. You'll be amazed at how little work it seems. But a lot of people are just trying to crank it all out in one day. So that's not a good idea. Do what?
Oh, I'm gonna do 5 sections.
Yeah.
10 sections done in 2
And
hours.
then they're just sitting there blindly keying mess in and wasting a bunch of time. Yeah.
What is that?
What's this?
Yes,
Dunkin' Donuts iced coffee drink.
okay. Gotcha.
I've been drinking on this since 5:30 a.m. Finally
Wow.
finished it. So any questions about that? So it's the same as before. You're doing the work. I just kind of want an idea of when did you do this section? Question. I'm new to Canvas, so will we need to upload our own Excel spreadsheet? Okay, so yeah, that's a good question. Usually I've had everybody email it, but I'm trying to be a little more savvy here. Like that?
Oh, I did, yes.
So if you can submit it,
So no more please see attached, things like that?
yeah, I got tired of please be advised.
Please be advised.
Please be advised that you're.
That's how I ended my last email. I said, please be
Yeah.
advised for the following.
So we published this. That was fun. All right, so your assignment here, week 1, I have it set up to where you can submit a file.
Oh,
So if you'll just do that, it'll all be nice, one neat place, and that'll be that.
good stuff, too.
And, oh yeah, submitting a file upload. Hopefully that'll work. If it doesn't, let me know and I'll fix it. Kind of new at this. I'm trying to be fancy. It's not that fancy. I think I'm behind everybody else probably. But yeah, just submit it on in there. And don't be late because you don't like that. No late. Yeah. So syllabus. I'm just kind of all over the place here. So here's our policies. Either be here live or watch the recording as soon as possible. A stickler for, oh, y'all need to be here and now. But it's better because, I don't know, it's just better. Like, if you're not here live, then you're automatically behind a little bit, right? So try to be here live or at least watch the recording first thing that you can. I'll post it usually that night if they send me the link in time. If not, it's usually by lunchtime the next day. I'm going to start posting the links in a module, I think. I'll have to figure out how to do it. I forgot, but I'll get it figured out. Again, trying to be fancy instead of just a Word document that you have to click on. So yeah, so I'll always post. Sometimes I make announcements in class, so make sure that you pay attention to that. Every assignment absolutely has to be on time. No late assignments. We're better than that at this level. Don't wait till the last minute to turn stuff up because something could go wrong. If it does go wrong, lesson well learned. It's only a point or so anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Don't ask for exceptions. There's nothing I hate worse than to have to say, yeah, I said don't ask for exceptions. And so just do what you need to do. No extensions shouldn't be necessary. We're theoretically on top of this on a daily basis. So if something unexpected comes up, you should have hopefully gotten a big chunk of it done. Turn in what you got and we'll go from there, right? No extra credit. We don't have time for extra credit. Materials, y'all should hopefully already have them. If not, get on it. Here's the information on how to do that. Here's a little bit about what we're doing with those Excel spreadsheets. So I'm saying it's very important we don't fall behind. So that's the idea of the Excel spreadsheet, to keep people from falling behind and to give me ideas of any problem areas anybody has. So each week you'll turn in a report that kind of documents your progress to show that you're spending adequate time on it instead of just a couple of hours on the due date trying to fake your way through it and lie. If you do that, that's not worth points, right? I said there will soon be, because I knew I'd get a million questions. There's no Excel spreadsheet in there. So I said there will soon be an Excel spreadsheet that contains a study schedule for the semester, and you cover each content area, record the date, and approximate time in which you completed the assessment. The point at which you get 100% on the assessment, I consider that to be, okay, that section's done. I would expect that the assessment's the last thing you do. I don't figure anybody go in there and answer questions first, but if that's what you want to do it. You can do it any way you want. And also tell us when you complete any of the quizzes, tell us when you complete the task-based simulations. Everything has to be done by the due date. So that's when it's due. It's like, all right, 11:59, all of this needs to be done. When you do it along the way, you have a lot of flexibility on that. To receive credit, show 100 on everything, but yeah, that's fine. Show 100 on everything just so it'll be nice and neat, because you can redo everything multiple times. If you come across any problem areas that you want to kind of call our attention to, key it in the comments and kind of highlight it in the next class. You're not necessarily going to do comments for every section, but you're welcome to do what you want. Don't mess around deleting rows and merging stuff, because I do a lot of copying and pasting to kind of get it all in one thing. All of that stuff has to be done by 11:59 p.m. on Wednesdays. Don't wait for the last minute. We in here. Any questions right now? More of those. So we will do exams exactly like we did before. Comprehensive each time, covering whatever we've covered for the whole semester. So exam 1 will cover just what we covered up until then. Exam 2 will cover everything we did on exam 1 and what we did on exam 2 time, right? Exam 3 covers everything from exam 1 and 2 and then the new stuff. And then exam 4 is completely comprehensive. 2, well, for a number of reasons, but a big reason is to keep the cheaters from cheating as much, is that nobody's exams are going to be the same. There's a big bank of questions that'll be randomly pulling from. And I apologize, but we can't disclose the questions. That's unfortunate, because I know you'd like to see exactly what you missed, but I just can't do it, because people will create a test bank themselves, and unfair advantage will go to whoever has the biggest group of people working together, and it's just a mess. So
we can ask you after the test, why would you?
yeah, so
One section we don't, right?
yes, feel free to email me after a test to say, hey, what did I screw up? And I'll say your topics that you screwed up were, I'd be nicer than that, but I say the topics you missed were this, and this, just to give you an idea of kind of what you messed up on.
That was the problem I tried to solve over the break. Is there a way we could use questions and kind of not be cheap?
No, there's just not a way to do it. And I've run into so much of that.
Yeah.
And even doing that, I still ran into it. So,
Good.
yeah. So,
How?
I mean,
so here's the thing. Everybody listen up.
there are ways to do it.
There are ways you can try to do it. And you know, it may be that one or two people might slip by every now and then, but I am on it. I am looking hard. I am applying, you know, this is my profession, right? Analytics, auditing, right? All it takes is a little bit of preliminary analytical work to kind of pull. It's like, okay, that's kind of iffy. And then I got the videos to look at. I can hear every little noise on those. I can see every movement of eyes. The person who tried to cheat this last time had somebody in the room with them. I'm like, I can hear their pencil moving. I can hear them breathing. Take the cheating thing a lot more personally than others, I guess. Maybe, maybe not. But I don't know. I've just had to deal so much with it because, you know, now not only have to deal with my own classes, I have to deal with everybody's classes in the department when any cheating comes up. So I'm getting kind of burned out with the cheating thing. So
Well, it's a profession that requires ethics.
yes, it is a profession that requires ethics. Yeah, it's important for sure. Yeah, and you know, it's hard to get away with things. It's even if you're getting away with it, there's still hey guys, y'all need to watch this one, you know. So that eye movement's a little sketchy. So
People will try harder to figure out how to cheat than they will studying the information.
They will. They
I mean,
will.
you can just apply half that, learn the information, you'd be fine.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, but you know, it's real easy to see. You can tell within a few minutes who's doing an exam honestly and who's not. It's super easy.
Really?
Mhm. Yeah, you can hit the forward button on it and do it at like 20 times speed. And people who are doing it right are, you know, you can tell. And the people who are doing it wrong are like, you know, all this. It's so easy to tell.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see, chat here. Don't watch my videos. I'm very vocal about how I feel about exam questions. Sorry, jerk, asking me this. I hate you. I would love that. It's like, I hate you for this one. That would make my day.
They're good questions. I'm like, what is that? It just doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, so that's the deal with exams. Any questions on any of that? Makes sense. All right. Rest of it is just the same old mess. Before you do the work, key in your progress, document, you know, we're accountants, we document this. And if you're working at a CPA firm, you're billing time, so this is kind of similar in a way that billing time, I guess. So let me put this on y'all because it's kind of interesting and hit the road. So like I said, we're working towards CPA here. Here's what the exam section is all about in audit. 4-hour deal plus a 15-minute break. You got 72 multiple choice questions and 8 task-based simulations in this one, broken down like this. So 5 testlets. Multiple choice is half your grade. Task-based simulations is the other half. You know, if anybody's kind of new to this idea, task-based simulations are, you know, it's like the problems that you get on like an intermediate test. You got multiple choice questions and a problem, but a little more elaborate than that. They'll present you with information, or more and more, they'll present you with real life looking documents and things like that, exhibits. They're really into that these days. And your responses might be keying in amounts, or it might be choosing an answer from a drop down or a pop-up box, clicking on the correct thing. Not so much you would be doing a tax form and audit, but you know, completing a tax form, keying in stuff there, or you know, you might have a document and there's little red underlines in certain sections, and you have to click on those and correct an error or something like that. They're just neat little problems to do. And then also in audit, you got one of your tasks, or your task-based simulation might be a research task. I don't know how many. I have to look into that. I can't remember, but that's money in the bank right there. Those research things are easy. So that's the breakdown. Your sections are, and this is what we'll be doing in here: ethics, professional responsibilities, and general principles. That's where we start. That's the order we start in. That's around about 20-ish% of your grade. Around about 25% is assessing risk and developing a response. About 35% is performing procedures and obtaining evidence. And then the other 20%-ish is forming conclusions and reporting. Those four little things there, that's the major sections of our book. So we'll work our way through all of those. So starting with ethics, professional responsibilities, and general principles. So that first little, this is not all of it. This is just a week's worth of it. But all this first content that we're doing, that's, once we're done with that, we'll say, all right, 20% down, 80% to go. I don't know if this is helpful, but I kind of think it is, so I'll put it in there. The levels that they test in this, they even have a breakdown. 35-ish% test just remembering and understanding. Pure memorization, ability to understand a little deeper those memorized principles. You'll get those in the multiple choice questions. So that's a big chunk of just kind of memorizing stuff, the easier stuff, right? 35-ish% is a little deeper application. So you're taking those memorized principles and applying it to a given situation. Again, still mostly multiple choice stuff here. Possibly creeps into the task-based simulations. 20-ish% is, so that's about 70-ish%, possibly 80%. 20-ish% is analysis. So now you're getting a little deeper again, using multiple concepts together, applying them to a given situation. Now you're getting into the problems, the task-based simulations, bigger things with more parts and stuff. And then evaluation, that level is unique to auditing. The others don't have that concept, but ability to evaluate information using multiple concepts to actually reach a conclusion. Task-based simulations thing. So that's kind of the skills that are being tested. I thought that was kind of useful just to get an idea of how they kind of spread it out. A big chunk of it is just learning and memorizing, which that's kind of makes you feel better, I guess. Some of it makes you go way deeper, but not all of it, right? Pass rates for the past 4 years. Hey, it's getting better and better. 46% of candidates passed in 2016, 49, 51, 52. So the implication of that is you need to be in the top 46 to 52% of candidates in order to pass. So it's quite doable. Scoring is not quite what you're used to. It's not a percent. 75 is the passing score, but they have this weird grading that they don't really, we visited the AICPA in New York and asked them, and they're like,
They're very ambiguous.
Yeah, they were very ambiguous about it. They have some algorithm, and it's a very complex way of grading. So, you're not in there having to answer 75% of the questions right to pass. Different questions have different scores, and their scaling and difficulty is taken into consideration. So it's some kind of weighted scale deal. I don't know. They won't tell us. But for the multiple choice questions, And this is something I've said before. I didn't realize this when I took mine first exam, that the better you do in testlet 1, the harder testlet 2 is. But for the multiple choice testlets, there's a different, they call it a multi-stage adaptive delivery model, which pretty much means the better you do, the harder it gets. Testlet to testlet. You know, it's not like the GMAT that's each question you answer right means you got a harder question coming up next. It's not that adaptive. So it'll start you out medium difficulty. Testlet 2 might be still medium difficulty depending on how you do, or it might be more difficult if you do better. So if testlet 2 is really hard, that's a good sign. So that's something to keep in mind when you're taking this thing. So that's just a little information I threw together for you. Just to kind of give you a little overview of what's going on with this exam section.
Let me post the exam.
Yeah, I'll put that. Yeah, it's in there now, actually. So there it is for you. I thought about starting with some of the content tonight, but I felt better about giving y'all a chance to actually read through it first. And then the first couple of sections are kind of quick and easy anyways. Here's the point. So I won't get into anything tonight. Give y'all a chance to get your book and get moving on it. We've got plenty of time to hit all the stuff. We're not going to be in a time crunch. Like a couple questions here. Don't watch. Oh, I'm going to read that one. I may have missed this, but how many attempts do we get on each assessment? On each assessment, you get infinite number of attempts. You can answer those as many times as you want. You can go back and answer them again later. You can answer them every day. You can do whatever you want with them. Yeah. Same with the quizzes, same with the task-based simulations. They are there for you to do what you want with them. So all I want to know is when did you do them the first time? Just to, again, to kind of keep everybody on track, maybe a little better. We'll see how that goes. Next week, we'll cover all of this. We probably won't go through all 80 of these questions in class because that's too many. I'll pick the ones that people might have a comment about and say, oh man, question number 2 wore me out. I would add that to the ones that we might go over. And any others, I'm like, hey, this is a good question. Or I might be like, hey, this was a crappy question. Just so y'all know that was a crappy question in case you didn't know already. Right? So that's the way we'll do that. So the question was, do we document in the spreadsheet the first attempt at the questions or when you get 100%? Do it when you get them all right. So to me, that's when you're done with the section, when you got all of those correct. So that's when you want to do it. Other questions? Do pages mean pages in the textbook we can order? Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. You know, when you're looking at those outlines on the screen, those don't translate into pages. So yeah, that's me flipping through the actual paper copy just to give you an idea of the length of the content. So yeah, you won't see those page breakdowns in the online version, but you know, when you open one up and you see all the content, you can say, okay, well, that's 3 pages worth of stuff right there.
Yep. Both is in that one form as well on the.
Yep, looks exactly the same. It is as if you went in and copied and pasted those outlines on the pages and printed it. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I could make on page 1. Create a LLC.
Okay.
I will sign out for now. See y'all in a week.
Because my friend doesn't